I would be making a series of videos to help you parents out there to teach your kids mathematics. But in doing so, I will ask you to abandon the traditional way of teaching mathematics and adopt a new approach. So the traditional way would be to give your kids a lot of scope, but not much depth. So for example, your child might be asked to find 50% of something. So once this concept has been mastered, your child will then move on to the next topic, and then get taught a small amount, and then get taught a small amount, and then next year they will be given slightly more depth. Let's say 25% of something. But then what happens if a child wants to know, let's say 17%? To understand 17%, a child will have to wait all the way to the following year, and then hopefully they will understand 17% of something. So rather than giving them a lot of depth, rather than giving a child a lot of depth, rather than teaching them a lot of topics but not much depth, what I'm proposing is that we give them a lot of depth in the field of algebra. Forget about everything else. Just concentrate on algebra. Get them to be fluent in algebra, because once a child is fluent in algebra, you can easily teach them. You can easily teach them other topics. I can't stress how important algebra is. Get them to be fluent in algebra. Once they are fluent in algebra, then it removes a layer of thought, and you can easily teach all these other topics once they are fluent in algebra. So for example, let's look at this one here. 17% of something. So the traditional way of teaching 17% of something would be to invest a lot of time into teaching them how to convert 17% to a decimal. And then once they've got their decimal, then they're told to just simply times it by the original, and then the combination of the two will then give them the correct answer. You see, to a child will not be able to understand why when you get a decimal, you times it with the original, it then gives you the correct answer. A child will not understand that. You see, when they are fluent in algebra, you can easily teach them concepts. It is the concepts that's more important than simply following the instructions. Because okay, with the 17%, if they're fluent in algebra, you can just teach them this. You can just say 17%. Well, you can get whatever you've got. Let's say an elephant, cut it into 100 pieces, and then if you want 17%, then you times 17, and then that would then give you your answer. You see, with algebra, you can say that, oh, this is A. Get whatever you've got, A, divide it by 100, or in this case, B, and then times it by C, and then fraction. When a whole number times a fraction, it gets multiplied to the top. It will then give you AC over B, and then extract this A. That will then give you A times C over B. So this 0.17 is in effect this bit here, and then the original is this bit here. You see, it is the concept that we are teaching them. We should be teaching them this concept rather than mindlessly following this process here, because the heart of percentages is really you cutting whatever you've got into 100 pieces, and then extracting the amount of pieces that you want. We should be teaching them this concept rather than simply following the instructions and then getting to the answer. So I will continue in the next video, but the kids that I'm aiming towards would be around about 7 or 8 years old, or maybe someone who knows roughly their times table. Doesn't have to be fluent in all their tables. Just someone who is roughly 8 years old, 7 or 8, roughly knows their times tables. He or she doesn't need to be fluent in their tables. Just know roughly. But I'm aiming for kids around about the age of 7 or 8. Okay. I will continue in the next video.